It's a heart-touching time for us here at Aussiark, as Elfie, our famous orphaned potoroo, is taking his big steps to living life with his own kind.
Hi Elfie, there he is.
As you'll recall, Elfie was found abandoned by his mother around Christmas time. Our Manager of Conservation Hayley took the little Joey home to hand raise him with the help of her daughters. It was a loving and magical start to life for this beautiful little animal, but all good things must come to an end. Here at Aussiark, we're dedicated in ensuring that our animals live their life to the fullest, just like they would in the wild. In the new year, I took over from Hayley, bringing Elfie back up to the Barrington Tops, where I continued his raising process in our headquarters house. It's been really important to make sure that Elfie is at his best, putting on a good amount of weight and in a healthy condition to make the transition back with his wild counterparts. And so I wanted to make sure that he was about 600 grams before he was off living with his own kind. In order to get Elfie up to his target weight of 600 grams, I continued with his bottle feeding, but also increased his solid food intake until he was completely weaned off the bottle and eating an adult diet. Once Elfie had hit his target weight, it was time for his transition into his big enclosure. The process of transitioning Elfie into a big enclosure with other potoroos was really delicate. We set up a playpen just like the one he has at headquarters within the enclosure and took him down just during the daylight hours. This is where most of the potoroos are really at rest and relaxed, as they are a nocturnal animal. In you go. It gave him an introduction to the space, the sights, the sounds, the smells that were all different, and allowed him to ease into the space. Hey Elfie, how was your first day? You ready to come back home? Come on. After a week of spending days in his playpen within the enclosure, we were happy that Elfie had the confidence to take the big milestone leap into staying overnight. Ready to spend your first night down here? Brought you dinner. You be a good boy. You have a good night. The first night that Elfie stayed in the playpen in the enclosure marked the transition away from the headquarters house. The enclosure and his playpen became his new permanent home. We weren't bringing him back anymore. This is a big transition, as other potoroos would be up and about and awake and interacting with him through the mesh of the playpen. To ensure that he was happy and confident, we had a camera trap within the playpen so that we could see these interactions, make sure he wasn't getting too overwhelmed or stressed. It was amazing to see the other potoroos coming in to investigate that playpen, and Elfie having the confidence within himself to explore them back. Elfie's just had his first night in his playpen in our species recovery unit, so it's time to see how he did. Hey mate, how you doing? Psst, psst, psst. How you doing, little mate? How was your night? He's looking fantastic. I think he enjoyed himself. Stay tuned next week for Elfie's final steps in becoming a wild potoroo.